Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, welcome to our Sunday evening online program. So today we have surprise guests. Actually, you didn't know about the guests till 2 days ago. I got a little bit more information from them today only. So I hope our guests have already joined. Ilya Prabhu, can you please confirm?
Yes, Hare Krishna. They are here, yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, welcome to both of you, Krtamala Mataji and Nandini Radha Mataji. Okay, I need to tell something special about these special people. Both of them are pujaris who have dedicated lives in the service of the deities, both in the morning and the evening. Krtamala Mataji joined ISKCON in 1994 in Toronto, and ever since then she has been serving in the temple, mainly as a pujari, and doing all other things as required, because sometimes it does happen that with shortage of people, sometimes you also have to cook, sometimes you also clean up everything. So they are ready to do that. She served in Boston for a couple of years. Now she has been living in Montreal for the past 15 years. And she's a wonderful disciple of His Holiness Narendra Maharaj. Nandini Radha, a youngster, she joined in Toronto in 2011. She happened to meet the devotees at the Krishna Club at Yale University in the first year of her undergraduate studies. And she got attracted by Hare Krishna movement, the philosophy and all the other things. So she moved into, also in Toronto, she joined in Toronto in 2013. And eventually she moved to Montreal, where she has been serving as a pujari, just like Mother Krtamala. She is also serving both the morning and the evening, and doing also all other things as required. She's a nice disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. I welcome both of you. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We gave you not too much of time, but it's nice of you to have joined us. So, without too much interruption, I'm going to request you to please proceed ahead. The floor is yours. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving us opportunity to associate with devotees through the speaking about Krishna consciousness. I will little bit speak about introduction of Krishna consciousness, and Nandini will speak about deities.
Can you everyone mute their microphones because we're getting feedback? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then Nandini will say something about worshiping deities. So I will just start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnana Timirandasya Jana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachadesha Tarine. Vancha kalpatarubhyasha kripashi sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Nandini recommended about worshiping deities, and since we are engaged so many years in this, we have a lot of many nice realizations, and it's nice to share with devotees. So we will read from Nectar of Devotion, 5 potent forms of devotional service. So there is 64 limbs of bhakti, and 5 of these 64 are very important and most potent. And it says even if you slightly perform them, it gives nice results. So Nandini will read a little bit, then we can little bit discuss about this, and then Nandini will speak. We choose of these 5 is worshiping deities is one that we choose to speak about. So the first is association with devotees, then chanting Hare Krishna mantra, chanting holy names, then hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping deities, and living in the holy Dham. So we will read little bit, and then I can little bit speak about these 5, and then Nandini can speak about worshipping deities.
Hare Krishna. So first we will read from Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, chapter 13, entitled 5 Potent Forms of Devotional Service. Rupa Goswami has stated that 5 kinds of devotional activities, namely residing in Mathura, worshipping the deity of the Lord, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, serving a devotee, and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, are so potent that a small attachment for any one of these 5 items can arouse devotional ecstasy even in a neophyte. Regarding worship of the form of the Lord or deity, Rupa Goswami has written the following verse, quotation, "My dear friend, if you still have any desire to enjoy the company of your friends within this material world, then don't look upon the form of Krishna, who is standing on the bank of Keshighat, a bathing place in Vrindavan. He is known as Govinda, and his eyes are very enchanting. He is playing upon his flute, and on his head there is a peacock feather, and his whole body is illuminated by the moonlight in the sky." End quote. The purport of this verse is that if someone becomes attached to the Sri Murti or deity of Krishna by worshipping at home, then he will forget his relationships of so-called friendship, love, and society. Thus, it is the duty of every householder to install deities of the Lord at home and to begin the process of worshipping along with all of his family members. This will save everyone from such unwanted activities as going to clubs, cinemas, and dancing parties, and smoking, drinking, etc. All such nonsense will be forgotten if one stresses the worship of deities at home. So that's all we'll read for today.
So as we heard, then the devotees, they read this Nectar of Devotion, and we know that Prabhupada, although he knew that chanting holy name is recommended for the Kali Yuga to get successful in practicing devotional service, but Prabhupada introduced worshiping deities for a reason, because it is very much helpful for all of us to come in mood of goodness, so then we can really chant nicely in mood of goodness and benefit from chanting. So I was fortunate, and Nandini too, to get these instructions from spiritual master that worshiping deities will be good for us. And somehow, by the mercy of Krishna and Guru, we accept it. And for years doing this, we can see how really this helps in our devotional life. First, it's really set your up sadhana, very strict and nice. You cannot miss it out, to get up early morning, to always be clean, and to start developing actually personal relationship with deities. And deities reciprocate to like almost unbelievable. I came from Islam background, which is deities are not there, but somehow by the mercy of Guru, I believe, and Krishna, I found myself worshiping deities. And you get actually attached to worshiping deities. You get this, that these activities through worshiping deities really make you forget about everything else, as said here, whereas Rupa Goswami said, you forget everything else. So although Krishna consciousness is somehow available for everybody, but not everyone is attracted, and not even we see who is practicing worshiping deities, practicing Krishna consciousness, not everyone is attracted to worshiping deities, very few. And we are always missing pujaris. So we have mercy, a lot of service to perform. And the whole day from 3 in the morning to the 9 in the evening, busy about worshiping deities. So these 5 parts of main limbs of bhakti, association of devotees is very important, most important actually. Then if you associate with devotees, naturally you will do what devotees are doing. And what they are doing, chanting Hare Krishna, speaking about Krishna, serving Krishna. So naturally you are into these activities, what devotees are doing. And then gradually purification start happening. Then you get really attached to these activities. Then but we have living in ashram, we have opportunity every morning to read and hear Bhagavatam. Then worshipping deities. So these 5 limbs, association with devotees, then chanting Hare Krishna, chanting holy names, then we have hearing Bhagavatam, then we have worshipping deities, and living in holy dham. Srila Prabhupada told us that where deities are 24 hours worship, that's tirtha, it's holy dham. So we have all these 5 living in ashram. Unfortunately, not everyone can live in ashram, but devotees usually make their home like ashram. They worship deities, they read, they invite devotees for a program. So together they read. So Prabhupada said you can make your home like a temple where deities are worshipped. So that's what I wanted to say about a little bit about this process of devotional service. These 5 main limbs of bhakti is very important, and very, very potent, that very quickly make you really forget about everything. So Nandini now will actually tell about worshiping deities, what we do, how we do, what kind of realization we can get, and what we can share with others also.
Hare Krishna. So now just focusing on the topic of deity worship itself. So this process is very, very merciful, because born in Kali Yuga, we are all Shudras, as Bhagavatam says. And we come from the lowest births. Most of us weren't even born as devotees, so we have all sorts of impressions in our mind. We've done all sorts of things, and it seems like, how can we take up such a pure process of Krishna consciousness? How can we come to the platform of approaching Krishna and serving Krishna purely? So deity worship is a very merciful process, because by engaging in worshiping the deity every day, you come to the mode of goodness. And from the mode of goodness, then we can jump up to pure goodness. So why deity worship is so merciful is because our senses are so dull. We cannot perceive spiritual nature. We're so contaminated. We're so much just functioning on the bodily platform. We cannot perceive spiritual reality. We read of Krishna, his form and everything, but we cannot see it. We cannot relish it. We cannot relish anything, actually. And so Krishna is so merciful. He came down. He came down and took a form made out of wood, stone, paint, marble. He came down, came to us so that we could approach him, because we're not qualified to go see him. We're not qualified to serve him, but he came and he's saying, look, I'm here. I'm ready to receive your worship. And so if we're intelligent, we'll take advantage of the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. We'll take advantage to start to develop a relationship, because Krishna is a person and we are also people. Our process is not impersonal. Relationship means two people, at least. And so if Krishna is a person and we have to serve a person, then that's what makes our process personal. Sorry. If, say for example, if the Queen came, or if our Prime Minister, what's his name? John Trudeau, what's his name? Yeah.
Trudeau, yeah.
Sorry, we're really out of it. But say for example, Trudeau came in front of you. He's a really big personality. So how would you receive him? You would say, oh, Mr. Prime Minister, please have a place to sit. Oh, let me take off your coat. Are you comfortable? Can I get you a drink? Here's some incense. It smells really nice. You just want to please that personality who has come before you. And such a big personality too. You want to make sure you give the first class foodstuffs. You prepare really nice ingredients. You give the best cushions. You offer really nice clothes. Offer him a bath. Here's the, like this. So such a big personality is in front of you. So now what to speak of God presenting himself in front of you? What would you offer him? How would you treat him? You want to please that person because it's a really big personality. So that's the on reverence that is there in deity worship. And initially, when you start deity worship, you should have this mood that you're servant. And so deity worship teaches you how to be a humble servant, how to be a considerate servant. And when you learn to serve the deity, you actually learn how to serve everyone else as well, which is a really amazing thing. It teaches you how to be humble. It teaches you how not to think of yourself, but to consider someone else's schedule, someone else's needs. Not that Krishna needs us to serve him, because he is Atmaram. Krishna is completely self-satisfied. Just by his will, he can make whatever he wants to happen. He doesn't need our service. Our service is so limited. It's impure, motivated. But still, he gives us a chance to serve him for our benefit. It's not that Krishna needs us. It's for our benefit that we can render some service to the deity. And so we make tons of offenses during our service all the time, But Krishna tolerates us. Krishna tolerates us so that we can continue being purified in the process. And that's why deity worship is so merciful, because Krishna is giving us a chance to approach him, even though we're not pure yet. But he's giving us this chance. So we should take advantage. and commit ourselves to a steady service schedule. If you're at home, then you set up your schedule, but in the temple, it's pretty serious, you know? So there's a lot of seva aparad, a lot of offenses that can be done in the service, a lot of neglect that can happen. But Krishna knows our heart. If we have sincere desire to serve him, he reciprocates with this. And he allows us the chance to serve him, though we're not qualified. And the more service you do, the more Krishna allows you to serve, and the more Krishna inspires you to serve, you feel the relationship actually growing. You feel Krishna's reciprocation. You feel the satisfaction that comes from completely forgetting your world and just making Krishna the center, at least for that moment of you're doing the worship. And can you imagine if you were doing this every day of your life? If you started all your mornings like this, you go to sleep to serve Krishna the next day. You wake up in the morning. Maybe you don't want to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, but you wake up for service. There's no better reason to wake up than for this, no? So even if you don't want to wake up, you're forced to wake up, but it's for the best reason in the world, and it's for the most purifying reason in the world. So do it. So you wake up in the morning for Krishna. And so this is how you get off, tamugun, rajagun. You do it out of duty. Motive goodness means to act out of duty. So like this, it's purifying in all levels. Then you serve the deities in the morning. You attend Mangal Aarti. You perform Aarti at home. And your mind, your consciousness is so clear, and it starts off on the right note, and it sets the mood for the whole day. And yeah, it's very potent. If you have deities at home, or if you commit yourself to worshiping deities in the temple, you have to clean up your life a lot. Because there are standards when you're serving Krishna. And if you really have desire to serve Krishna, you will clean up your life and make all parts of your life favorable and conducive to this service. So it's a big step to worship deities. It's not something you can take up whimsically, but if you dedicate yourself to the process and you persevere in the process, even though it's really, really, really austere, that's a sacrifice that you're making for Krishna. It's a sacrifice that you're making to develop your relationship with Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates. Because the feeling that you get from giving yourself in the service of the deities, it's more satisfying than anything else you could feel in this world. It's your relationship with Krishna is the most satisfying relationship that you can have, period, because that's our eternal relationship with him. And we're looking for it in all other places, but actually Krishna is number one. Krishna is number one, so we should try as much as possible to first and foremost cultivate this relationship, and everything else will fall into place. Maybe you have so many things to do in your life. You're working, you have children, but if you just take care of Krishna first thing in the morning, you'll see how Krishna takes care of everything else. If you sacrifice time, energy, money, whatever for Krishna, you don't have to worry about anything else. Everything else will fall into place. What else can I say? Do you have any other realizations?
What we learn in a course, we both took course of worshiping deities, and Vrindavana Vinodini was also there with me, and Nandini maybe a few years after us. But what they explained to us, that worshiping in temple, it's a little bit different than at home. As said, in temple, Krishna is the boss and you are servant. At home, Krishna is the guest and you are boss. So how to understand this? Because you cannot eat and put your mouth anything unless it's first offered to the guest. So in that way, the grihastas, they will never eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And also they explain to us, since grihastas working, they can make the schedule and the standard how they will worship. Some are worshiping in evening when they come from job, some worshiping in morning. Everything depends on situation where devotees are in this grihasta life. But main things that it has to be steady every day, because we are on bodily concept of life. So the best way of purification, beside the chanting holy name and Bhagavatam reading and hearing, is worshiping deities, is very helpful to regulate our activities and cleanliness. And Prabhupada said this is most important, is cleanliness and steadiness in worshiping deities. Maybe somebody of you ask some questions. I don't know if we explain whole process, how we worship deities.
It's very meticulous.
It's very in detail and a long time. And
we just wanted to cover what is the mood, that you should have towards deity worship and the deities, Gornitai, Radha, Manohar, your own personal deities. You should take it as an opportunity to develop a personal relationship with the Lord. You have this chance. And I'm sure you all feel when you pray to the deities that Krishna is really listening to you and he knows your heart, and you feel his reciprocation. You know when he's reciprocating with you. So it's so potent, And it's a blessing that Srila Prabhupada gave us, that he gave us this process.
And still these temples are, the deities are installed like many years ago, still going on, although we have no many devotees, but still it's no interruption of worshiping deities, which is good. That can see some devotees, they do have faith, that deities are not different from Krishna. And in a course of worshiping deities, they told us, you worship deities as if Krishna is there. If you don't have yet realization and vision, Krishna, as if Krishna is there. In that kind of faith and mood, we worship deities.
So if you have any comments or questions, I just wanted to say sorry. I remembered the Prime Minister's name was Justin Trudeau. Yes. Sorry, we're so out of it, sir. We focus on Radha Manohar. We try to. Anyways. Any questions? Hare Krishna.
Nobody made it.
Hey, we're so bored.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, simple question. Maybe I should have already thought of it, but I don't really got to understand. For the deities at the temple, they are installed with invocation, prayers, chanting, and so many other processes involved in the installation of the deities and inviting the deities to come and be there. So at home, when we bring the deities from Holy Dham, or somebody gives as a gift to us, so how do we actually do something equivalent to that? Is there something equivalent to that for invocating the deities to be present in the murti at home?
Do you understand this question?
Or is it a much simpler process?
There is process, but in a course of worshiping deities, they told that Goranitai are installed by Kirtan. Goranitai deities are installed by Kirtan, and Radha Krishna deities usually who worship Radha Krishna, the devotees who are second initiated and they want to worship deities. So there is some kind of installation, but main things is that what the devotees they invite some brahmanas who are worshiping deities, and they make some small kind of installation. But main things is the faith of the devotees who are deciding to worship deities, a faith in these deities that they want to worship them. So this is most important. It's a faith. Some people I hear, we have some devotees very nice, but they said, oh, I worshiping deities is strange for me. They don't have this kind of inclination. Is this maybe nature, or I don't know, I cannot explain what is this, but many devotees, they have no inclination for worshiping deities. But they are good in kirtan and chanting and reading or knowledge Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. They can give nice class, but it's just Nandini, we are really fortunate enough that we got instructions from spiritual master that it would be good for us to make spiritual progress if we worship deities, and we just accept it.
Yeah, so we took it as a duty. So that's why we were able to commit, because they came from higher, you know? As for gifts of deities, the individual who buys deities or receives the deities, they have to introspect and think about whether they're ready to commit to seva. Because if you neglect deities, then it's considered like offensive, you know? You invited Krishna to stay in your place and then you forget about him. So you have to think in your heart if that's the way you want to treat Krishna. And if you're not ready for that commitment, then better wait until you're really, really gonna, promise Krishna that I'm going to serve you every day without fail.
And also
Yes.
chanting holy name is very much potent when you are chanting from at home and in temple, when devotees chanting and meditating on the it's very auspicious and easy to meditate or fix mind on the hearing holy name.
The main thing at home is you set your standards. So if you want to begin worshiping at home, then start your standard like very simple, incense, giwik, flower, food offering. Maybe that's all you'll offer. But at least if you start this level, do it every day. When you feel inspired to increase, then increase. But the main thing is you don't go down. You start simple, but continue that. And that's a show of your devotion. Steady is a show of devotion. Home standard is up to the individual and what they can offer. But temple standard is high. So from the beginning, we have to learn pakka, But at home, the main thing is steadiness in your offerings. And it will grow, it will increase, your spontaneous desire to serve will be there. Relationship will increase between you and your Krishna. And you will want to serve them, Maybe if you don't want to serve them, push yourself to serve them anyways. And you'll feel satisfied. You'll never feel like it wasn't worth it to take out this time to serve my deities. You'll never feel that way. So you make that time for Krishna.
I will tell once when I was in Boston and 4 o'clock Arctic, I'm doing Arctic, and I didn't expect Guru Maharaj enter into temple room. And I heard and I knew that you stop worshiping deities and attend the spiritual master. But then I was thinking, if I do this, he will chastise me, because the Guru Maharaj has the vision that deities are there, Krishna is there, and now she is leaving worshiping Krishna and coming to. I was thinking, no, I better continue worshiping deities. So I remember this. I was really, I don't know what to do now. So Preharna Mataji told me same things. She was doing Arctic in Toronto when Prabhupada entered in temple room, and she was, oh no, I don't know what to do.
She was very nervous.
Very nervous. But we must also say that that Prabhupada stressed on many places that the worshipping deities is for neophyte, for those who have bodily concept of life, so the spiritual master can see what actually can help us to make some progress. And definitely in these 20 years, I can see that this really works. You forget about everything else and you are absorbed, and then you get actually taste for holy name and
Bhagavatam,
everything else. And I can see in this temple with almost 1.5 years, they are going every day Harina. And that's wonderful that because the worshipping deities is very nice here, and those few devotees who are dedicated, that it purifies, whole atmosphere.
Yeah,
and Kirtan is there, Kirtan every day, in front of deities. I don't know, maybe some Nandini can maybe more share her realization. She's young, and she is young girl who is completely dedicated. It's not astonishing us who are older. We have nothing to do else, but the young devotees who are dedicated fully, that's really something.
I just wanted to talk about one point which Krtamala made, is that we're in the bodily concept of life, and she mentioned that deity worship brings us off this bodily concept. And there's one Prabhupada quotation. He wrote a letter to Kirtanananda, and he said, "Decorate the deity with beautiful flowers and dress, and you will forget all other false beauty." So this is what happens when you take darshan of the deity, and what to speak of dressing the deity. This is what happens. You fall in love with Krishna's form. And when you fall in love with Krishna's form, you can't stop looking at Krishna. You don't want to look at anyone else. And you know that no other girl can be more beautiful than Radharani. No other boy can be more beautiful than Krishna. They are the top, most beautiful, handsome couple in the whole world. No one can have a love story like theirs. No one can have pastimes like this. There's no relationship like theirs. So then it's like you just only want to serve them more and more and more, because they're the best of the best of the best. No one can match Radha and Krishna. And you look at everyone else and all the problems in this world, and it's just like, oh my God, like I was attracted to all of this. Like, Radha and Krishna are the topmost perfection. And when you fall in love with them, this is how you naturally just get off the bodily platform. You don't have to try and stop going to the cinema. You don't care anymore about those things, because nothing is as beautiful as Radha and Krishna. Anyways.
I started with Gora Nitai and small deities, Radha, Madan Mohan, and somehow still few days somebody take Gora Nitai, but and I'm kind of, you become attached. You attach to deities. And when somebody come to dress and you see they didn't dress how you wanted to dress, you become disturbed. I want to fix it.
She's very attached to Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan. The small Radha Krishna Devi. She's very attached to them. How many years have you been serving them?
Yeah, from 15 years.
I just dress whoever they tell me to dress. But
She's dressing Radha Manohar. She's most blessed that now during the coronavirus period, she got it. And she dressed them. Everybody loves. She dressed them very beautifully. Radha Manohar.
actually, since I was like 18, 19, I knew I wanted to be a pujari. And I knew I wanted to serve the deities every morning and dress them every morning. Doesn't matter what I was doing in my life. I knew I wanted to serve in the temple every single morning before school or works, whatever happened in my life. And when I moved to Montreal, I used to like stand in front of Radha Manohar. I wasn't even second initiated yet, but I used to stand in front of Radha Manohar. And at this time, Nitai was dressing. And I had no idea how to dress, nothing, but I would just like, I would be so confused and amazed at the same time. Like, how does Nitai know which necklace to put? How does he know what color to put there? How does he know to make the dhoti like this? How does he know to hang like this? How does he know this flower goes there? I was like, how does he know how to do all of this? This seems so impossible. I can't do that. I'm so stupid and inexperienced. How can I even serve the deities one day? I had a deep desire. I wanted to dress Radha Manohar one day, maybe, but I had no idea how I'd even be able to do that. And somehow so soon also, I would never think of ever even dressing Radha Manohar so soon. It's just the mercy and the mercy of the devotees and the mercy of my teachers in Mayapur. And yeah, honestly, Krishna just inspires you from within. Every day, how he wants to be dressed, that he'll inspire you to carry that out. Like, you're just an instrument when you do the service, honestly. You have to have a humble service mood. Like in any other service, you have to know that you're just an instrument and you're serving just to please Krishna. Every morning before I touch Radha Manohar's feet and I say, okay, please inspire me to decorate you how you want to be dressed today. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just pull out stuff that I think will match, but it just kind of happens. And like in any service, if you want to serve Krishna, you have a desire to serve Krishna in a particular way, he reciprocates with you and he empowers you to do amazing things in preaching, in book distribution, in kirtan. Krishna, he inspires you and he carries you, and you do service that you never thought you were even capable of doing, or that you thought you were capable, like qualified for. So it's all mercy. This whole process of Krishna consciousness, deity worship, it's all mercy. And you have to keep a humble attitude that I'm not the doer, constantly. Like in anything else, that you're not the doer. The moment you start taking credit for your work, Krishna will take away the service, or he'll find some way to humiliate you and humble you down. But you always have to remember that you're not the doer. This service is a privilege. It can be taken away like this at any moment. So this is the topmost quality, actually, to be humble and realize that I'm just a servant. Krishna, you can use me in whatever way you want. You want me to do this service today, I'll do it. If you take it away, that's also okay. I'll continue serving you. You're just not the doer. Even though we have attachment to certain services, still we should have the humility and the grace to do other services as well. It's all the same at the end of the day. Dressing the deities, or taking out the garbage, or cleaning out the floors. If you have the right consciousness, all these services are the same. Everyone is so quiet. Do you have any questions? So
Yeah, I have practical question if possible.
sure. Who's speaking?
It's Kundalata speaking.
Can we see you?
I'm in kitchen now.
Okay, fine.
You can, I'm actually, you can see me now. Okay, somehow it's not, cannot open. I just have a practical question. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Uh, because you went to courses, worship and deities, and I want to ask if it's how it's important to have clean paraphernalia for deities, or it's important just mood, proper mood. At paraphernalia, it's okay if it's not clean enough. It's because just
The habit of cleanliness is indicative of your consciousness, actually. And they taught us in the course, actually, we had one entire class just spent on polishing and the different materials for polishing and the different metals and what substance works well on which metal, so it's a big part of deity worship. And they gave an example. Prabhupada, they were in like some Prayag or something, some big mela was there. And there are lots of sadhus there with their kopin and their water pot, right? Which is usually made out of copper, which is the material which gets a lot of oxidation very quickly. And Prabhupada said, you can see how clean a sadhu's heart is by how clean his water pot is. And so they made this an entire exercise for like 2 weeks straight. We all had achaman cups that were made out of copper, and we were graded on how shiny our achaman cups were. So every morning by a certain time, we had they also taught cleanliness and punctuality. Okay, these are the topmost qualities of a pujari. So every morning by a certain time, our achaman cups had to be in their spot before grading. And so in the morning, everyone's rushing, polishing their achaman cups. And like everyone was so paranoid because even a fingerprint leaves an imprint on the achaman cup. And this fingerprint, you'll lose marks. So a drop of water, a fingerprint, everyone was so careful to keep their achaman cups spotless. So that's how much they ingrained in us, cleanliness. So we got graded on our copper achaman cups. This shows your consciousness, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother. My name is Jay. We have obviously Gonitai deities in Ottawa, and you're fortunate because you have Radha Manohar in Montreal. You'd mentioned about standards. Can you give us a bit of indication of how the worship is different between Radha Krishna and Gonitai, just to give us a bit of a flavor of the standards that you have to follow? Thank you.
In worshipping in temple, standard for Gauranitai and Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra and Radha Krishna are same, because we learn that the Lord Chaitanya is not different from Radha and Krishna.
I was under the impression that it was more stricter and there was a much more higher requirement. That's not,
No. In temple, we worship them as Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
So that the mood is own and reverence. Even if you get some realization of spontaneity and attachment, and still externally we do with own and reverence.
Yeah, like externally the procedure is the same. 16 upacharas, it's the same for Radha and Krishna. What is different is your your manasa puja, your internal mood. Because Gornitai, you're worshiping them in Navadvip. They have different lila, they have different associates, they have different mood. Radha Krishna, you're worshiping them in Vrindavan. So the mood is also different. So that's where the main difference is, but externally the worship is the same. You're offering the same paraphernalia. It's limited. What we offer externally is limited. The real worship happens in the mind. That
Thank
you can, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You will.
Mantras are different, obviously. You're referring to different personalities. Your Manasa Puja is different. You're personal. You're worshiping Gornitai. You say Gornitai's name when you address him, when you talk to him, you know? I mean, yeah. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
At our house, we are using small Krishna deity, which we got it from Mayapur. And how we will be able to do the dressing for him or abhishekam for him and the details for a small deity. It's a Laddu Gopal.
Laddu Gopal.
Laddu Gopal usually is not in our Sampradaya, it's the other one. It's Krishna, you know, treat them just as
Krishna.
But child Krishna, you know, they have this.
But I think he's talking about procedure. There are many manuals available online, and probably you can get one from your local pujaris. A lot of manuals are available how to perform abhishek, how to perform arti, how to do a bhoga offering. These are standard for any deity.
It's online also.
Yeah, but what you want to take on for your own standard, that is up to you and your capacity. You can't right away take on temple standard. It's good to know it, but at home you have to be a little bit more practical with, you know.
And Gopal,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, they usually have this, the
parental.
Yeah, parental feeling. So I don't remember where I had this. She bathed him. How she bathed him? She put him under
faucet.
Under where we wash hands, you know.
The faucet.
Yeah, and then she washed him. I like keeping in hand. So
it's personal. Yeah.
But there is procedure. Yes, there is procedure. And you cannot speak on this. That time there is really procedure. If you read everything or somebody show you, when we are training pujari here, we spend time and time with them to show them everything how to do properly.
So this bathing of Laddu Gopal under the faucet, I mean, that's her spontaneous way of doing it. We can't judge her because of course she must have some devotion for her Laddu Gopal, you know. But the process of deity worship is Pancharatrika. It's Vaidhi, you know. There's rules and regulations. So yeah, the amount of rules and regulations you can take up, that's you see what you're ready for, and you take on that much, you know. But also Krishna knows, he's in your heart. He knows your love and devotion. You may not do it perfectly. Maybe you will put him under the faucet. You know, it's between you and Krishna. I'm not going to judge you. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mama.
Hi, Krishna. I just wanted to say that I'm so happy that both of you spoke. It was so inspiring and so realized, obviously, because it comes from so many years of dedicated service that you have done, which is so rare. So thank you very much. I think it would be inspiring for everybody, not even just the pujaris or the devotees who have deities at home, but even anybody who comes to the temple, to kind of you made it that the focus are the deities, the focus is the Lord. Even for devotees who are cleaning the temple, for devotees who are cooking, for devotees who are singing, devotees who are chanting anything, any service in the temple is really meant for the pleasure of the Lord. And I think you kind of presented in such a nice, realized way. And it was really inspiring. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Nandamai.
Nandamai.
She's the most inspiring.
Listen, we were seeing that our head pujari want me to paint Goranita. I said, how can I paint? I don't know which paint she used, where to buy, what to do.
We're waiting
How?
for you.
And I was thinking, if she agree, I would come with car, with somebody and pick her up, her, bring her, and make her to paint Goranita.
Anandamayi is an example of a lot of devotion
Yes.
to the deities, to Gornitai. I'm really amazed at her flower arrangements.
Yeah.
Very simple, but so beautiful and perfect.
Well, I don't deserve anything that you just said. In fact, the flower arrangements, the really beautiful flower arrangements were made by Anne, who's such a wonderful devotee.
Nice to hear you.
We have a question that was sent to us actually to the chat. So it's Hare Krishna. People keep deities as showpiece and they place them in drawing room or here and there as a decoration piece. What is your understanding regarding this?
I have seen initiated devotees who invited me to visit them, and they make some prasadam. And I have seen this, how they have, as you said, just as decoration, without offering anything, without worshiping. I personally think that's the showing consciousness that this person, how much, at least they have some faith, and that having deities in a house, it's auspicious and maybe but there is no understanding that the Krishna is the person, and he decided to show to devotees himself in a form when we are not yet qualified to see Krishna. So that's why everything depends on consciousness. How developed consciousness is, and faith and knowledge. I didn't have anything much about worshiping deities or deities because my background was from Islam, but my Guru Maharaj was very merciful. He saw that for me it would be good worshiping deities, that especially when he asked me, you want to live in temple the rest of your life? I said, yes. I said, he said, worshiping deities is very good for those who want to live in temple because you can cook, you can dress them, you can worship them, you can engage all your time in worshiping deities.
Yeah, you learn a lot of skills, you develop lots of qualities just by serving the deities. You learn how to cook. You learn how to manage your time. You learn how to work under pressure. You learn how to work in a team. You learn cleanliness, punctuality, steadiness. So many things come just by surrendering to the service. So there's no loss, you know. You do it.
Although it's not the recommended in Kali Yuga, it's not process, but when we chant Hare Krishna in Kirtan, we do in front of deities. So it's a place where the devotees gather together and the hear Bhagavatam and the Kirtan. What was the question here? Why?
Showpiece.
Showpiece, yeah. Faith. It's about faith in deities. The deities are not different from Krishna. At least what we learn in course, as if Krishna is there. You treat them as if, and gradually by purification, Krishna revealing many things that you see Krishna is not there just a stone and a nice statue to be decorated.
It's a form of preaching also, deity worship.
Although now we see there is some groups of devotees in Montreal that they are gathering somewhere and just kirtan, not even Bhagavatam, not deities, just kirtan. It's good, but Srila Prabhupada introduced this and we follow. We follow and we can see how much result, we are getting just by staying and the steady in the service in association of devotees. It's much help.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to thank you very much for your lecture. A while ago, I think it was in May, and I cannot remember the speaker, but he or she said, what you practice now is what you become later. And in that sense, your lecture was very, very inspiring. And my takeaway is that deity worship, as well as the 4 other potent forms of devotional service, are really the means that will allow us to develop the good qualities such as humility, steadiness, and cleanliness. And then we will become better servant, and which will strengthen and develop our relationship and love for Krishna. And so for me, sorry.
And others also.
Yes, thank you. Yes, yes, that's a point. That's a note that I also made. But thank you for putting some emphasis on that. And for me, your lecture was also a call for action. I think to better organize and fortify the way I take care of my deities at home. I do my best, but it made me realize how I can do much better. And so for me, it was a call for action, and I'm looking forward to go to sleep so then I can be up tomorrow morning
Good.
and be more steady and actually more structured. And I think, of course, everybody will benefit from it. So thank you.
Thank you so much
It's nice.
for allowing us to serve you in some way.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that you will now do better, the one young lady start coming, and then she was attracted to worshiping deities and said, "Can I have Gora Nitai worshiping deities?" I said, "Sure." And then I explained to her a little bit how to do in beginning, and then she broke deities twice. And then she said, I don't think so that you should worship deity. Maybe you should chant, come kirtan and this. No, I want. I said, okay. So then introducing, then I ask her sometimes when she comes, did you worship deities today? No, I forgot. Few days I didn't do. So this is how the beginners, they have no much understanding, and that's why recommended pictures. And but we try to encourage devotees whom we see that they could worship deities, and later on maybe when they initiated and get help this temple and worshiping deities, because not many people are interested in worshiping deities. So the steadiness and standard start by hearing about this and practicing. you will maybe one day you forget or not in good mood, but still the offenses to deities are nullified by chanting holy name.
You know, we didn't prepare for this.
Yeah.
We didn't prepare for this at all. It was
We just spontaneously, whatever we have realizations. She recommended the worshiping deities because we are doing this and we have some experience.
we can talk about it very
Yeah.
naturally, you know. So we didn't have to prepare, write notes, memorize shlokas. It's just we could talk. And yeah, I mean, before this class, I was very nervous. And I was, because we're in the library right now and we have direct vision of the altar in front of us because it oversees the temple room. So we can see Radha, Manohar, Gaurnitai, Jagannath, and we can also see your Gaurnitai. I was like praying before the class during your kirtan. I was so nervous. I said, please use us as instruments to just speak what they need to hear because we don't have anything ready. So it's whatever you're hearing from us is by their inspiration. We didn't prepare anything, but we're happy that you could benefit from, you know, what was said, what was shared.
But thank you for the giving us opportunity to share. Maybe some devotees will be inspired to, as you said, worship deities better or set better standard or sadhana. Sadhana is very important in worshiping deities. And for example, we cannot chant our rounds in morning, so we have to set up time during day when we chant our rounds and when we read. So that's before worshiping deities, we could have, you know, together with devotees, Mangala Artik and
Japa period.
Japa period and
Non-existent for so many years. No
Yeah.
japa period in the morning.
So we have to organize later on when we don't have much service. And besides worshiping deities, we have cooking, taking care of Tulasi Devi, which is also in the
She's a deity.
yeah
She's a personality.
worshiping deities, and yeah, it takes time, and then arrangement of flowers in altar, and all this taking really time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. You said you are not prepared to give this, but your whole life you have been preparing for the past at least 6, 7 years you've been doing the deity service. How can you say you are not prepared? You are kind of, it's natural for you to talk about deity worship. So you need to prepare for that. That's one thing. Another thing is what you have to do extra when it comes to special occasions, for example, during Janmashtami kind of festivals. How, apart from the decoration and additional, new dress probably and additional decoration and this thing, is there any other thing you are doing extra?
Generally, on appearance days of deities, you do an abhishek.
Yeah.
You do an abhishek. And a maha abhishek in public for the deities to congregate and do kirtan in front of the deities. And Rupa Goswami has actually written it out for you. You don't have to speculate how to do a maha abhishek. He has a book called Sri Krishna Janma Tithi Vidhi. So,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, can you mute the microphone? So in Sri Krishna Janma Tithi Vidhi, Rupa Goswami is outlining exactly how Nanda Maharaj did the bathing ceremony of Krishna during the Nanda's festival. So this is Leela, you know, deity worship is actually direct Leela, Krishna Leela. So Rupa Goswami has outlined this. So if you enact this, if you can do this for Krishna's birthday too, you're participating in Leela. Doing arti is in and dressing them. This is all Leela. This all happens in the spiritual world. Krishna is served by his associates. Deity worship is a way to be trained up for what to do in the spiritual world. So generally during anyways, back to appearance days and other festivals, Abhishek generally, and you can learn from Rupa Goswami. I think he's muted, maybe be talking. You can unmute now.
Okay, that's yeah. Thank you very much for that. That I didn't know that there's a special directions given by Rupa Goswami on that. So tell us a little bit about your experiences in the during the visit to Holy Dham. I thought you had some interesting experiences.
Holy Dham. Having experiences from my
Me?
Yeah. Can you mute your microphone again, please? Okay, can you speak?
My experience in Holy Dham, when I go in Holy Dham and stay, whether the few weeks or few months, this is a real direct experience how you really forget about everything and you just the chant, go to classes, seminars, read. So the visiting Holy Dham is very auspicious, special for us who live in temple and doing many activities when we don't have much time for chanting and reading. But when we go in Holy Dham, we really take advantage of the Holy Dham and or if we go on parikramas, hearing about pastimes. That's my experience. I see it's would be nice if I go every year 6 months in Holy Dham, maybe few months in Vrindavan, few months in Mayapur. Last year I went in the end of November and I came in the end of February. So I happened to go first time in Jagannath Puri. And it's nice experience. And then I stayed 3 months in 2.5 months in Mayapur.
I just wanted to share an experience in Mayapur that I had. This was in the. It's me, Madhuri. We're giving a class right now, Madhuri. Yeah, but I need to ask something to Krtamala. Sorry. This was during the Deity worship course that we took in Mayapur, the Archana course. One of the experiences that we got to have was we got to go on the altar actually, both Panchatattva and Radha Madhava altars. And we got to actually do some service, whether it be cleaning, mostly cleaning, But one of the best experiences I ever had was when we were learning how to dress the deities. We learned in the classroom, but then we also got to go on the altars and watch the Mayapur pujaris dress in the morning and in the evening. So this was it was so amazing to see Radha Madhava and the Ashtasakis and Panchatattva get dressed. And I remember the first time I went on the altar, Radha Madhava's altar, I was gonna cry. This is the mercy of Radha Madhava and Mayapur Dham. Odarya Dham, he gives so freely, even though you're not even qualified to go on the altar. I was only first initiated, but I went on the altar and I was standing before Radha Madhava and they were so big and so real. And I was literally gonna cry. I was trying to hold back my tears because you can't cry in front of the deities, but I was just, it was out of gratitude. I was so grateful that that was the perfection of my entire existence to finally, after everything I've been through, it doesn't matter good or bad, everything turned out good because I got to be in front of Radha Madhava and it's like literally nothing, everything bad that happened in my life, it didn't matter anymore. I was so grateful for that one moment, and that was a life-changing moment for me. Being in front of Radha Madhava, I couldn't believe it. And I felt so much separation at the same time because I wasn't Brahmin initiated. I couldn't go close to them. I couldn't do service to them. I could only watch on the side. And I was so heartbroken, but at the same time, so grateful. And like, I was crying the day before. Why wasn't I Brahmin initiated? I can't serve while I'm here. I can't cook while I'm here. But actually, like Radha Madhava totally reciprocated because Madhava's pujari, he I guess he was really nice to me. He took off Madhava's turban and he said, "Come here." And it was so big. Madhava's turban was so big. And he gave me Madhava's turban. And he was like, take it apart, take it apart. So I was like, okay, okay. And so I was like, removing all the cloth, taking out all the mukut pieces, putting away the pins. And I was so grateful that Radha Madhava let me serve them, even though I wasn't Brahmin initiated, and they still let me serve. So that, like, oh my gosh, Dham is so merciful. Any desires you have in the Dham, you have to be very careful what they are because they will get fulfilled. So Dham is so, so, so merciful. If you have really, really sincere desire, pure desire to serve and to learn how to be closer to Krishna, Krishna really, he reciprocates like this. And I'm sure so many of you have stories. I know Anandamayi has many stories about her Giriraj and Vrindavan. So Krishna is so kind, so, so kind. Yeah, that's the mercy of Dham, just one example. I mean, there's so many stories. But Radha Madhava was very kind. To this day, that's still the perfection of my existence, that I can stand in front of Radha Krishna.
We also have opportunity to preach. Many people come to temple first time, or they come and then we have opportunity to preach also, to tell them about Krishna consciousness, and it's good. So living in temple has a lot of privilege. Yeah, has privilege for experiencing many aspects of Krishna consciousness, and chanting holy name and kirtan and sadhana, association of devotees, preaching. And whenever the visitors, preachers come, we are grateful now in this time of the coronavirus. Everything is online, but we have at least once a month we have some guest online here class Bhagavatam.
Guru Prasad Prabhu?
Yes, I'm just getting it unmuted. Okay, thank you very much for sharing that experience in Mayapur. And it's actually Audarya Dham, as you know that lot of mercy when we go to Mayapur Dham. And as you said, also our desire should be pure. We should also be asking for advancement in devotional service and opportunity for serving. I think that the right attitude and that desire gets fulfilled. I'm very, very happy that got that experience. Actually, that definitely is a significant moment, as you said. So it's so wonderful that both of you have agreed and come and be very natural. We actually explain things in a natural way. After all, as you said, you didn't specially prepare for it, but your own experience in serving the deities in Montreal and going through the daily process, it is not easy. It's as you said, it's one must be very, very fortunate to do the deity service, especially like you two as examples that dedicated life. It is there's no break. When we mentioned that we are going for a visit to Holy Dham, things like that, and then that's the time I think we get kind of a break, if you want to call it. But otherwise, your day is full. There's no need for, there's no time for anything else. So when you keep yourself busy, this is exactly Srila Prabhupada's idea of getting devotees engaged in throughout the day in some service. So there's no time for getting involved with material nature, forgetting Krishna, forgetting Krishna, doing something else. This is what normally a normal person is actually, most of the time we are dealing with the material nature. Our consciousness is not really Krishna conscious. We are actually in the material consciousness. And we are trying to be Krishna conscious, at least during certain part of the day, where you are the other flip side, that you are always in Krishna consciousness because you are always thinking of how to serve the deities. We are very fortunate to hear from you, that your own example, how you actually relish it. What I want to ask you, maybe, did you expect that when you become pujaris like this is what is going to be? Did you have any idea what is going to be when you started?
No, not this soon for me at least.
What is?
He said, did you expect that you would end up in?
Oh, no,
No.
never. Never.
Krtamala wanted to be a big preacher and start preaching centers.
This is only happened because of mercy of spiritual master. Because spiritual master can see really what can help.
Can you mute your microphone, please? Okay, go.
Spiritual master can see what actually can help the disciple in Krishna consciousness, and that's when we are fortunate enough to have instructions from spiritual master. It's really much helpful than when you choose yourself. I know when I found in 11th canto of Bhagavatam that instructions of spiritual master are active principle in the driving force to advance in Krishna consciousness if you are able to follow instructions of spiritual master. And of course, I was kind of shocked, worshiping deities. I never thought about this. But the guru could see, that how disciple can make some progress.
Yeah, actually, this point of spiritual master is very important. We didn't touch upon it during the talk, but this is like the main thing about deity worship, is that you're assisting guru. So before going on the altar, we have to give credit to the parampara. So we chant, one of those verses. Naham Vipronacha Narapatir. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, I'm not a Brahmachari, householder, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of the damsels of Vraj, Dasa Dasa Anu Dasaha. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the spiritual master. And the spiritual master wouldn't be there if he wasn't for Srila Prabhupada and, his spiritual master and his spiritual master. So actually, when you worship the deities, you don't approach Radha Krishna directly. You go through Guru, you go through Parampara. So when you worship deities, you always have the picture of the spiritual master. You always have the picture of Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. We're actually assisting Guru. And Guru is assisting Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is assisting the Parampara. And like this, the service goes up to Radha Krishna. So there's this succession. We're just servant of the servant of the servant of the spiritual master. That's all. You'll always remember that we're at the mercy of the spiritual master. We're assisting him in his service to Srila Prabhupada. There was some message. They're sweet.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. A few more minutes. I want to encourage anyone else has any question about deity worship, please take the opportunity to pose that question. In about 5 minutes, I think we will conclude. the session. So please, any of the devotees online would have any question, please feel free to ask.
So we can thank you.
So I guess nobody has a question. Thank you. Thank you.
So we can thank you for this opportunity to give us to speak about the service that we got by the mercy of Spiritual Master and Krishna and devotees. And hopefully soon we can come to Ottawa for some program.
And you can come here visit Radha Manohar. We'll give
Yes.
you lots of seva to Radha Manohar. Thank you
Really,
so much.
every time when I come to, and every time I come to Montreal Mandir, I really appreciate how well the deities are decorated, how well they are, being served. And I always used to wish if only, every day at least a few families come and take darshan of Sri Radha Manohar, that will be wonderful. So that was my spontaneous thought whenever I saw the deities. Oh, the deities are looking so nice. They are so well taken care of. Why not more people come and have darshan of the deities at least, even if they are not directly serving, they can come and have darshan of the deities. So that's my desire whenever I see the deities are worked so well, so nicely. So people can definitely take advantage of it, spiritual advantage, because their appreciation, any appreciation of the deities or the service to the deities actually benefit to the person who actually appreciates that. Okay, once again, thank you for stepping in. Actually, I gave you a very short time. I should say that I didn't give you much time to prepare yourself, but it happened to be a very natural process. So in one way, it's also very nice that it turned out to be like that. Thank you, and wish you all the best in your endeavors, and I'm sure that you are experiencing the result of your dedicated service. So we are continuing to do that, and very soon, hopefully, when this pandemic situation is over, that there will be more people coming and having darshan of the deities, and hopefully it will be very soon. Of course, we cannot predict. The situation is still very difficult. I have the desire to come, but I'm told that right now, crossing from Ontario to going to Toronto, Montreal is not being encouraged because of the current situation in Montreal. So I was hoping to do that sometime soon. I think it may be before, we will not know before the end of the month what's going to be. I think the situation is somewhat very difficult in Montreal area. Anyway, let's pray that everyone stay safe, and then this somehow this pandemic dissipates very soon, so people can resume their life as it was before. Hare Krishna. Thanks again.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.